Yes, tonight I will light in this whole open field.
As you grow in fame and notoriety and your career goes from strength to strength, it's not something you're going to hide, is it? It's not something.
No.
It would be easier for you to do that, perhaps.
I didn't want to say it, but it stopped him from going to the Olympic Games. Because of what he was, and that, for me that was heartbreaking. I almost told you to quit, didn't I? If the politics of what you are is going to stop you from doing what you're good at, don't bother with it.
And that's what you thought happened?
It did happen. It did. I don't thought it did. It happened.
I'm not going to try and be something I'm not. I'm going to be proud of what I am. And what I am is a traveller, Irish, whatever you want to call me, fighting for GB. And I'm here to change the way people think about travellers.
Why isn't there justice for a traveller? Is it just because we're travelling people that we can't have justice? What is it against us? What are the people against us that they won't let us live our lives? They want to put us back on the road to live like dogs. It's not happening.
Police moved in early to try to clear the UK's largest travellers' site. Protesters who've been blocking the entrance to Dale Farm for weeks tried to stop them, using bricks and whatever they could lay their hands on. Caravans were set on fire, along with other buildings. Hundreds of people have been living at the illegal settlement in the east of England for 10 years. Some had left the site recently, knowing their fight was over, but others had stayed put. The row over the travellers' right to stay on the site centres on a planning dispute. And although they bought the land, they didn't have planning permission to build on part of it. The local authorities have been trying to remove them for years and were finally given the go-ahead after several battles in court.
I'm absolutely clear that after 10 years of negotiation to try and find a peaceful solution to this, that actually what we're doing is the right thing. I think we've seen from the level of violence put up by the protesters this morning that it was absolutely right that the police led the operation.
The travellers say they have nowhere else to go, and the eviction is against their human rights. It's expected to take several days to move everyone off the site.
We're human beings like everybody else. We like staying with family friends together. It is our way with the last 200 years or more, and leave us that way. We're not asking a lot.
Will you please tell me, what am I going to be? Living like a rat? Because that's the way they're treating us. Rats have got better lives at the moment in Dale Farm than we've got.
I understand we're on Greenbelt land, but put us into Brownbelt land and just leave us there. That's all we're ever asking any of the government, and we're pleading with the government.
I feel like crying the whole time over it, but I just don't want to keep crying because I'm just going to make myself very badly depressed. I just keep sitting crying about it.
Nobody wants travellers on their back door. Nobody wants travellers as their neighbour. So that's the way it's going to stay being.
There's a great deal of prejudice in the United Kingdom towards Irish travellers. You hear stories all the time about how dirty they are, how they leave conditions in terrible places, how unpleasant they are. And they were nothing like that. None of those stereotypes ever fitted.
Irish travellers are a nomadic ethnic group living throughout Ireland and the UK. They traditionally move in caravans, living in encampments alongside roadways.
Many of the travellers are illiterate. Through years of moving around, many of them don't read, they don't write.
That's Mary Turner, a photojournalist who spent 7 years getting to know a group of travellers who face marginalisation and are stereotyped because of their unique lifestyle.
They were far from dirty, the cleanest people I've ever known. You'll notice that inside their trailers, everything is covered in plastic so that the children don't make anything dirty.
Laws introduced in 1994 gave police greater authority to evict travellers from roadside encampments, which led many travellers to settle at Dale Farm near Essex, hoping to form a community.
They live tightly together, away from the outside world, and they totally depend on each other.
They had come expecting violence from protesters as the police moved in to clear 49 illegal plots on the Dale Farm Travellers site in southeast England, the biggest in the UK. Authorities said they'd received intelligence they would face protests following the travellers' last-ditch attempt to stave off the evictions at the Court of Appeal on Monday. Bricks and debris were thrown at police as they broke down a rear fence and moved in to prepare the way for bailiffs. At least 50 officers led the operation, in which they said 2 people had been tasered and 1 arrested.
My daughter's over there with 2 young children as well. I'm in here. My Shelley's up the back. They came in that way up there.
Scared. Electricity supplies were cut, with the travellers claiming this had turned off crucial medical equipment belonging to elderly residents. The eviction comes at the end of a lengthy legal battle which started 6 years ago when authorities declared the development illegal.
This time, there would be no reprieve for Dale Farm. As first light revealed mass ranks of riot police moving towards the vulnerable rear of the controversial site, the final battle was about to commence. A decision had been taken to use force. Police officers rather than bailiffs. This was the site that confronted the remaining travellers and their supporters. After a decade of legal conflict, the last act would be swift and forceful. Once the defences had been breached, officers poured into the site, arresting those who tried to halt their progress. Such is the attention this issue has attracted, the whole operation would be played out before the cameras of the world. Protesters who'd taken positions on scaffolding also watched on as the police quickly took control of the camp below them. Fires were started, makeshift barricades erected, but nothing that would stop the police.
I can't believe it. I'm in total shock. I'm sick with shock. I cannot believe that this. Look what's happening to us. Our own homes have been put in buffer, and this is what they're doing to us people. Our whole life they've been doing this.
Come on, follow me. This way. Yep, here we have. This is a top of the range one. It even has the handle, the moving handles for lock, unlock, turn. King sign on there. Go on, get in.
He's asleep.
I'm not asleep, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, this one's better. We was in it earlier. This one's better.
Nice and warm, as you can feel. The warmth as soon as you come in.
Toaster.
Toaster,
kettle.
Whatever you want, basically. It has all the mod cons that any normal person's home would have. Gas cooker, oven, heater, Wilton carpet down there. Everything. Bed down there, bed here, bed up here.
Right, Peter?
You like Cougar?
You can't see you because it's pitch black, but...
I know, yeah, I'm here.
You're there.
And you're still here?
I'm still here, yeah. I've been here all day.
So that's it. Do you think you could live in a trailer?
Tyson, have you had your food?
Yeah.
I have stayed in a trailer before.
Have you?
No, I have. A hobby. Let me ask you a question, right?
Sit down, have a fucking seat.
What do you think if Vladimir was to be in these surroundings? Would he survive? Be able to live like this?
I think he would, considering I watched his documentary and 6 or 7 people of his family lived in one tiny room over in the war zone where he was. Where's all that chemical plant? Chernobyl, is it?
And in Austria, he lives in a log cabin, which is similar to these.
Yeah, so, you know, Vlad's used to the luxuries and the not-so-luxuries.
So you've probably got more in common than what he thinks.
You know, it's one of the things. On the documentary, they said they all lived in one room and they had one toilet to share between 10 people and all that. So he hasn't always had it easy, Vlad. He knows what the hard life's about. And I think he'd be more than comfortable in one of these trailers.
When a bare-knuckle fighter reaches the top, he's crowned with a rare title, Gypsy King. In Tyson Fury's bloodline, there were 2, one on each side of his family. And when Fury's parents were dating, the Gypsy King on his mother's side foretold a kind of prophecy to Peter Fury, Tyson's uncle.
Your brother, he said, is seeing my niece. He said, can you imagine what kind of offspring they're going to have? And he said, if they ever get into boxing, he said, we're destined to have a world champion. I'll never forget that.
Your bloodline goes back 200 years on both sides of your family.
Bare-knuckle fighting.
Bare-knuckle fighting.
We're going to do a little bit of a conversation about traveller bare-knuckle boxing, but bare-knuckle fighting. People have been asking me, man, that they're interested to know about traveller fighting. Is this like a normal way to solve like a beef or something in the community?
just a way to sort out trouble. What's now when you get feuds and people want to have an argument in a fight, it's the way to settle it, put an end to it. So it's better than using guns and knives, isn't it? Get out there, have a few bangs, what are you going to get? A black eye, bust a nose. That's it. Yeah.
How long have you actually been doing these sort of settling beefs this way? Like, is it a long tradition in the traveller community?
Since I could walk. Yeah. Since you're a child, that's what you get brought up to. It's just a way of our way of going in life. That's why we've always known that settle it, have a few bangs, that's it. Forget about it, shake hands, it's done.
It's quite normal in traveller circles for young children to be raised up as boxers, or at least hold their hands up and do a bit
to defend themselves and look after themselves on the road.
Why is that so important in the community?
Because the world's a horrible place, isn't it? And obviously there's a lot of people out there fucking try to take advantage of people, and the mother and fathers only want the best for the sons, to be able to defend themselves, get out there, earn a few quid, and that's it. But it is a big part of our life, tradition, fighting.
So I've got to ask you a couple of questions about the whole sort of traveller history, because there's an awful lot of weight, if you'll excuse the expression, on the shoulders of lots of traveller fighters, but you particularly because of your famous relations. I mean, the Furies themselves have got all sorts of history, but you've got some proper old history, haven't you, floating around?
Yeah, definitely. You know, my uncle was, in our world, the king of the bare-knuckle boxing.
20 odd years unbeaten.
Yeah, 20 years unbeaten, Bartley Gorman. He's also his brother, Sam. My great-grandfather also was a bare-knuckle boxer.
I told you, but I ain't joking. We'd be here for 2 hours now.
75 generations. Yeah, so it's a lot of family history. You know, all my family's involved in boxing. So really, ever since day one, it's been nothing but boxing.
We're a fighting breed, a fighting family. My breed is the Gormans, the Furies, the Wilsons, the Kellys, the O'Neills, the Maguires, and the Bryans.
In your DNA, do you feel those 200 years, those 10 generations of bare-knuckle boxers? When I look at your brother Shane, I certainly see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. When he's limping around in his crutches, he's still a handful.
As we saw for the last Wilder press conference.
With his brother. And I think Huey got a little punch in as well, didn't he?
He did, yes.
Family feuds.
He had to clip Wilder's brother.
But do you carry that psychologically? Do you carry the confidence of knowing that 10 generations of the family have fought as if you're cleaning your teeth or taking your shirt off or on in the morning?
Yes, I was born and bred to do this. And I know we're not animals, we're all human beings, but if breeding makes any sort of difference, I am bred to do this. And if I can't do it, God help the rest of them, they definitely can't do it. I look forward to it. It's lovely. I don't look at a boxing fight and think, oh, I'm frightened to death of it. I look at it and lick my lips. It's like going for a nice Sunday dinner. I love it.
You never let your guard down being a travelling man, because you know the man opposite you has got other ideas to bring you down. And that's the way we've been brought up, because we've never been accepted. If he won 20 world titles, he still wouldn't be accepted, because the Gypsy man, he don't work for nobody, he pays homage to nobody. The only homage we pay is to God Almighty, on my own father. But that's just the way we are, and we're just a different race of people completely. It's a culture thing. It's different to yours, it's different for theirs, different to many. We've got our own beliefs and we live to our own standards. You know, some people agree with them, some people not.
Do you believe that Tyson perhaps doesn't get the credit he should get because of his background and his heritage and his...
Well, listen, it goes without saying, doesn't it? Listen, if Anthony Joshua had gone the same route as Tyson Fury, he'd be having tea with the Queen every night. You know, Tyson, English champion, All-Ireland champion, British champion twice, Commonwealth champion, European champion, WBC Intercontinental champion, IBF contest, 24-0, and beat good men, not knockovers like the rest of these men's getting, you know, because let it be what it is. I'll speak straight from the heart, me. Anthony Joshua's a talented man, but in my eyes, he didn't win the Olympic gold medal. It was in Britain, or he never got it abroad. To me, he lost to the Cuban. But that's by and by. That's boxing. We can accept all that. But why give a man more credit than a man who's actually worked hard for something? And Tyson's worked hard for where he is today. He's fought people at the best. Derek Chisora, one of the best fighters in the world today, still is. He beat him in his prime. He was unbeaten at the time. Who'd ever fight Steve Cunningham? A fellow who'd been a two-time world champion and go in his own backyard and do it. You'll never see the Anthony Joshuas, you'll never see the Dillian Whites, you'll never see anybody taking chances like that. Deontay Wilder, he's had a title given to him. You know what I'm saying? This kid's worked hard, tooth and nail for what he's got. He's come up the hard way, even in the amateurs. He was neglected in the amateurs and he poured his heart out for this mongrel race, this island in the middle of the ocean. This postage stamp was worthless. You know what I'm saying? It's dumping ground for the world. Let me tell you about it. He's given his all for this country. And what's he got in return? I hope you die, you pikey bastard, on the 24th of October. What's that about? You know what I'm saying? This kid, that's what the way he is. That's why he swears, because he's mixed up, because he hasn't got his just desserts for the effort he's put in. Because this is a true fighting man. You could roll them up and they wouldn't beat this man. He'd beat the two of them, Joshua and Dylan White, on the same night, my son. Believe me, take the back around to him, because it's a fighting desire. It's like we had it out the other day, we talk about it many, many times, and we say, listen, this is how it is. These people here, they got bits of street cred through men, you know, but do you take Dillian White out there in that grass field here, look, pull his shirt off and let him have a row out there. Let him have half his ears missing. Let him have the blood pissing out of him. Let him need 100 stitches after an hour. Let's see how game they are then. He's prepared to do that. Is Anthony Joshua? No. Is Dillian White? No. Derek Chisora? No. Because they've never been in that kind of environment. I know what it's like because I've been there. I've watched it. It's happening. It's a cultural thing. And this is what gives us the edge. I know he can win. He knows he can win. That's why I don't give a damn. He don't give a damn about Klitschko. He knows that Klitschko what he is. He's a 40-year-old man. He's a good champion. Take no credit away from the man. He's done well to do what he is. But can he go in the trenches like a travelling man, a gypsy man, a crossbred mongrel race of a man what's bred to fight? It's in his genes. You can go back 300 years. We're all fighting men. You know what I'm saying? Is Klitschko? His father's an army sergeant or something, wasn't he? You know what I mean? Fetched up with a silver spoon in the mouth. We've been kicked up, don't we? We've been dragged up, kicked up from pillar to post. We've had to do what we can to survive, to put bread on the table. When these all kids had to go into the hospital and beg milk from to feed them, and some stayed before wouldn't draw a dole. And I've never drawn a dole in my life. Anything. I've took nothing off this government, me. All I've done is give, and I've given the precious thing of all, Tyson Fury, the best thing to ever come out of this island, this rubbish dump, and yet they can't get behind him. That's all it is, a rubbish dump, a dumping ground on the people who run it, just because, and they say there's no racism. I'm telling you about racism. It's never been as bad towards travelling people today. He's a good lad, no criminal record, never been in trouble. I've been in trouble. I don't care what people think of me. They probably think I'm a raving madman, this, that and the other, but I'm an intelligent madman, if you've ever heard of such thing, and nobody can get things over me, because I'll tell you now, while they're thinking about it, I've already been there and done it, because I've forgotten more than they know about life itself in general. But this lad here, he's listened to it all, he's seen people around him, and you know what? I say what they are, says, son, the plastic people, take no heed of them. Does it really matter what they believe? Because what happens is, their heart wants something that much, it overrules the brain. And they hate travellers in that form, that they're clutching onto floating logs, saying, oh, Joshua might be the man, he can do it, Dillian White he might be do it, because they want it to happen that bad, because they cannot foresee a traveller gypsy world champion. This man is the best in Britain, and them two can't carry his jockstrap, them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. Because he's earned these stripes. In the amateurs, professionals, whatever he's been, they haven't. They've had it give on a plate. He's a Commonwealth champion. He got a knockover for a Commonwealth title, taking nothing away from Gary Cornish. He ain't a proper fighting man. He's a big lump. You know, he's a woodcutter from the island somewhere. He isn't a fighting man. And he proved it, because he would have got up. He would have got up and tried to do something. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. He accepted defeat. That's it. Because he's not a true fighting man inside. This man here, you see him on the 24th of October. What true fighting men do when they're losing. And I don't think he will lose. But if he is under pressure, you watch what he can come out with. He'll surprise the world, this man.
There's a right hand by Wilder, but it was blocked as Fury charging forward.
And maybe a little bit of a veteran tactic there, trying to kind of impose your
There's a left hook by Wilder. You're absolutely right, Christina. Fury is closing the distance, and he is putting his body weight on Wilder. Wilder needs to stay away from the ropes.
He does not look good.
A right hand.
Do not look good.
It's teeing off. The corner's in, and this one is over. Tyson Fury has become the new WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
Tyson, I was looking at your old fight last night. I've never seen you fighting as good in all my life. You went from round 1 to round 7, and you went in and you murdered your man. That's the way a good heavyweight man should fight. Go in and peg them out. You're a serious man, Tyson. Well, Tyson, the first out fight you had with him, I put £1,000 on you. And my wife put £1,000, £4,000 on my son-in-law. And the next thing I give you a laugh about now in a minute. So I was getting money back, say, that was a draw. But Tyson won the fight, but say he was robbed of it. Went to the woman, and the woman said to my woman, no, she said, no money back for the draw. I ain't trouble. Like Tyson won the fight. But last night, Mr. Fury, I never seen a man like you in all my life. You're the greatest gypsy man that England or Ireland never wanted. And we're travellers, and we're very proud of you, Tyson. And I won't be out £2,000 used to them. My son Davey, Joe, all with a few quid, and that was it. You are number one.
Number one. Drink Guinness from.
And I drink the pint. And I'm drinking this for you, Tyson. You and your father, John Fury.
One big jaw, Tyson Fury.
I don't even know for like. What's that?
That's the 15th pint of drunk.
No, that's the 20th.
And up, Tyson. You're making all the travellers and you're making all the gypsies proud. Because you are the real king of the gypsies. You're just not the king of the gypsies. What your man said last night. You're the king of the world.
Yeah. Along with the raggle-taggle gypsies,
So much. Along with the rattles of his gypsy,